Hi my dear children, welcome back to our YouTube session. I am so glad to meet you all through this session. In this class, we are going to see about your next chapter, that is your next lesson from your science subject, right. So, what is your next lesson? Your next lesson is about reproduction in animals. So, this is your 7th lesson after 8th lesson, right. So, this is your 8th lesson, reproduction in animals. So, we all know that maybe in your 3rd standard you read about living things and non-living things, right. So, in that you learned living things can reproduce, so living things can able to reproduce, right. So, what is reproduce? Reproducing means developing a new ones, right. So, we can see all living things have the ability to produce more of their own kind, right. So, we can see many animals they reproduce, and this process of producing more of their own kind, the process of producing where the living things, the process of living things producing more of their own kind is called reproduction, right. Now, this reproduction is very important for the continuity of a life on earth. So, if an organism has to continue their life on the earth, so that their development, their generation, so it is very important, because once without reproduction there will not be any continuity of the life. So, it is very important, because the continuity of the life will be there, okay, right. So, now we are going to see what is reproduction here. So, first we will write what is reproduction. So, in your 2 mark you will get a question, what is reproduction? So, you have to define and write the answer. So, now let us write what is reproduction. So, reproduction is the process it is a process actually. So, the process by which, so who will produce? Yes, living things. So, the process by which living things produce more, they can able to produce more. So, they living things produce more of their own kind is called reproduction. Right. So, in your 2 mark you have to answer like this, okay, right. So, what is reproduction? Reproduction means the process by which living things, only living things can able to produce, not the non-living things, okay. So, living things produce more, produce means developing, right. So, that is known as reproduction. Production it is meant to producing, okay. So, produce more of their own kind. So, the same kind only they can produce. A dog can produce a pup, a lion can produce a cub, right. So, a bird, we can get a new parrot from a parent parrot, okay. So, likewise their own kind only they can able to reproduce, right. So, this reproduction animals they do the reproduction by 2 different ways, right. So, one of the set of the animals they reproduce by laying eggs. So, the first type the first set of animals, some animals they reproduce by laying eggs, by laying eggs. So, some animals produce their own kind by laying eggs, and some animals they give birth to the younger ones. Okay. So, they will not lay eggs, they give birth to the new ones, young ones. Okay. So, they give birth to young ones. So, in Tamil if I want to say, some animals mutta podum, okay, mutta edum, okay, and some animals kutti podum, okay va. So, this is the two ways where the animals can able to reproduce, right. So, now let us see what are the animals that reproduce by laying eggs. So, there are so many animals that lay eggs. Here you can see how they lay eggs. So, if you take a bird, so the bird, now you can see here it lays the eggs, right. So, from the egg we can get a new chick, new bird come out of the egg. So, some animals lay eggs in this way and they hatch the new ones from the eggs. Okay, and the second set of animals, they give birth to the young ones. So, here you can see some animals like mammals, even human beings, we also give birth to the younger ones. So, the baby will grow inside our body itself, inside the mother body, inside the body of the I mean inside the uterus of the mother, and the baby comes out from the mother's body. So, this way the second set of animals give birth to the younger ones. Okay. So, we can see a giraffe, here also you can see a elephant giving birth to the younger elephant. So, here you can see the new elephant, the younger elephant is coming out of the mother elephant. Okay. Right. So, now you can see here. So, once the animals give birth to the younger ones, after that they feed their kids. So, they feed their younger ones with the help of the with their mother's milk, right. So, mostly the second set of animals like they who are giving birth to the younger ones, right. So, they after the birth they feed their younger ones, okay, right. So, now we are going to see what are the animals that lay eggs. So, animals like birds and insects like butterfly, housefly, ant, cockroach, grasshopper. So, these animals and including some reptiles. So, reptiles like snake, lizard, crocodile, tortoise, even frog. So, these animals lay eggs and they reproduce by laying eggs. Okay, right. So, then these, so once they lay eggs, what happened? You can see here. So, once they lay eggs, the baby grows inside the egg. So, the baby undergoes many stages inside the egg, and you can see this egg, the egg needs a warm place for the development. So, the embryo needs some warm place for the development, right. So, that is why parent animals lay their eggs or they keep their eggs in a warm place. Okay. So, mostly like if you see tortoise, crocodile, so they lay the eggs in, they will dig out the sand, manna vandu thondi or pallam mari senji, and they lay eggs inside that sand and they close with the help of the sand. So, thereby the eggs will be warm inside under the earth and the egg hatches. Okay. So, here also you can see a bird. So, normally the parent animals lay their eggs in a warm place or keep their eggs in a warm place, or some animals they sit on their eggs to keep the eggs warm. Okay. So, அந்த முட்டை வந்து சூடா இருக்கும்போது தான் அது வந்து வளரும், உள்ள இருக்கிற அந்த எம்ப்ரியோ வந்து வளரும். Okay. So, that is why the birds will sit on the eggs. So, mostly the birds they build a nest, so and they lay eggs. So, where they birds lay their eggs, so before they lay eggs they build a nest and they lay the eggs and they sit on the eggs to keep them warm, right. So, the habit of the animal to sit on the eggs and to keep the eggs warm. So, this habit is called as incubation, right. So, now let us write what is incubation. Even in your 2 mark they will ask what is incubation. Okay. So, first we will write what is incubation. Incubation. So, incubation means the habit of the animals to sit on their eggs they sit on their eggs in order to keep them warm. So, if the egg feels the warm condition only, inside the egg the embryo grows. Okay. So, that is why some animals lay eggs in a warm place, or they keep the eggs in a warm place, or some animals like birds, they sit on their eggs to keep the eggs warm. So, mostly that is known as incubation. So, incubation means animals sit on the eggs to keep it warm. So, that habit is known as incubation, right. Yes. So, now let us see. So, about internal structure of an egg. So, today we are going to see what is the internal structure of an egg. So, inside the egg what it contains. Okay. So, first we are going to see the outer part of the egg. So, this outer part of the egg is very hard and it is very thin. So, this is known as egg shell. So, the outer part is known as egg shell. So, the egg shell you can see, right, od they will say, right. So, it will be very thin and it will be very hard. This outer layer is known as egg shell, and this egg shell protects the baby inside. So, inside the baby will be there, right. So, this egg shell protects the baby inside, right. So, once we after the egg cell, after the shell you can see here very jelly like substance, a white jelly like substance you can see here. So, many of you would have tasted egg, right. Yes. So, that white jelly like substance is called albumin. So, this is known as, this is the white jelly like substance. So, this is known as albumin, ALBUMEN. So, this is known as albumin. So, albumin is a jelly like substance which is present inside the egg shell, and this albumin is rich in proteins. So, it is rich in proteins. So, why we call egg as a complete food? Because egg contains rich in proteins. So, it has all the proteins, that is why the albumin, particularly the albumin, contains high amount of proteins. Okay. So, inside the albumin you can see the yellow part, right. Yes. So, this yellow part is known as yolk, egg yolk. So, this egg yolk is rich in vitamins, minerals and fat, right. So, you can see the yellow part, right. So, the curry they will say, right. So, this egg yolk is rich in fat, vitamins and minerals. So, this egg yolk provides nourishment to the embryo. So, it provides food for the embryo, right. So, this is about the internal structure of an egg. So, if you take any egg, that animals laying eggs, right. So, if you take any egg, the egg has these structures, right. So, the white is rich in proteins and egg is rich in fats, vitamins and minerals, right. And what is the function of the eggshell? The eggshell protects the baby inside. So, internal structure of an egg is a 5-mark question from this lesson. Okay. So, once you are thorough with this, you can easily attend the 5 mark. Okay. So, what is the internal structure? You have to draw the internal structure of the egg and mark the eggshell, albumin and egg yolk. So, you have to draw yellow color and then whitish color and then the eggshell. Okay. And you have to write eggshell, what is the function of the eggshell and what are the what it contains, albumin and the egg yolk, what it actually contains. Okay. So, like this you have to write for your 5 mark. Okay. So, this is about your internal structure of an egg. So, now let us see about the life cycle of a chicken. Okay. So, we know that the baby, the embryo undergoes various stages inside the egg. So, inside the egg it undergoes various stages of development. So, you can see from the once the egg hatches, once the baby chick comes out of the egg, you can see a baby chick, right. So, a baby chick comes out of the egg. Once the egg matures, once the development is over, once the egg matures, the baby comes out of the egg. Okay. So, likewise here it is the egg of the chicken, right. So, from the chicken egg you can see once the egg matured, the baby chicken, that is their chick, comes out of the egg. So, after the chick cannot able to fly. So, it cannot able to fly and thereby the mother chicken they take care of the chick. Okay. So, that this process is called hatching. So, hatching means where the baby chick, the baby animal comes out of the egg, that is known as hatching. Okay. So, once it comes out, the mother animal will take care of the younger ones. Okay. And they feed their younger ones. So, mostly birds and all the animals feed their younger ones. Okay. So, once it reaches, so after that the chick grows, undergoes various stages and the chick grows into an adult chicken. Okay. So, this is the life cycle. So, once there is a once the animal shows some stages in the development of the animal, so that is known as life cycle of a animal. Okay. So, this is known as life cycle of an animal. Now, let us write what is the definition of the life cycle of an animal. So, the stages of development from an egg to an adult form is known as life cycle of an animal. So, now let us write the stages of development from an embryo to an adult So, this is known as life cycle of an animal. So, during the incubation, the egg undergoes many processes, the embryo undergoes many stages of development, and thereby once the egg reaches the matured stage, the egg breaks and thereby the chick comes out of the egg, or the younger animal comes out of the egg. So, likewise we can see the same way we can see for the other animals. So, what are the animals that they lay eggs? I said yes, insects like ants, grasshoppers, housefly, dragonfly, mosquitoes, birds, and reptiles like frogs, snakes, frogs, crocodiles, tortoise, so lizards. So, these animals lay eggs and the eggs comes out of the the younger animal comes out of the egg. Okay, right. So, now let us read what are all the things that we have discussed today. So, we have discussed the definition of the reproduction. So, what is reproduction, right? So, we learned what is reproduction, and we learned that animals reproduce in two ways. Okay. So, one by laying eggs and one by giving birth to younger ones. Okay. So, they give birth to younger ones. Okay. Right. So, in this two different ways animals reproduce. Now, you also learned what is reproduction, right. So, reproduction is the process by which living things produce more of their own kind is called reproduction, right. You have learned that, right. So, now after that we saw egg laying animals. Okay. What are the egg laying animals? What are the egg laying animals? Yes, very good. Birds, insects, reptiles, snakes, frogs. So, these animals reproduce by laying eggs. So, after that the egg needs what condition? Yes, the egg needs warm condition to develop, right. So, that is why some animals lay their eggs in a warm place or some animals sit on their eggs, okay, to hatch. Okay. So, that habit of sitting on their eggs to keep the eggs warm is called incubation. So, we learned what is incubation, right? Yes. So, after incubation we learned there are some animals they sit on their eggs and they develop the embryo will be developed, right. So, after the embryo is developed, after the egg matures, the younger one comes out of the egg. So, this is known as hatching. So, you also learned what is hatching. Okay. So, after that we learned about the life cycle of a chicken, right. So, what is life cycle of an animal? So, animal, what is life cycle of an animal we learned, and in that we learned about the life cycle of the chicken. Okay. Right. So, what is life cycle of an animal? So, life cycle of an animal means the stages of development where the changes from younger form, that is from the embryo to an adult. So, this stage of development is known as life cycle of an animal. So, in that we learn the life cycle of a chicken. So, from the egg, once the egg matures, we can see new chick comes out of the egg and the chick cannot able to fly. The mother bird will take care of it and they feed their younger ones. So, once the chick grows, once the chick gets the food and it grows, after some days or after many months it grows into an adult. So, this stage of development is known as life cycle, right children. So, I think you are very aware about these topics. So, go through the lesson, go through the video, right. Okay. So, almost we have come to the end of the session, right. So, in this first part you have learned how animals lay their eggs. We learned about the two ways, right. So, hope this session will be very entertaining for you and hope this session will be even more information for you, right. So, very good information for you. So, go through the lesson, go through the video, and in the below description you can see a Google Drive link. Click that and you will get the lesson related study material, question bank and self assessment. Take the study material and copy in your science subject note and read from your science subject note. And once you are thorough with the lesson, take your self assessment and do the self assessment. So, if you do the self assessment, you evaluate yourself, you just correct yourself, and so that you will come to know what mistakes you have did. Okay. So, once you are thorough with that, take the marks, put the marks, and you can evaluate yourself, right children. Hope this, thank you for watching, have a good day.